So I'm president and co-founder. My wife is CEO and co-founder.
Talking to the mic so we can see on the video.
But, so my wife is the CEO and co-founder. This gets me the opportunity to get out of the house about once a week. Work from home, so, and we still argue. But anyway, so the story behind 1MillionCupsSTL-Feb Solutions, and don't start your 8 minutes yet.
No, I'm good. I'm still checking in on the app.
The story behind this, my background is I've been in the healthcare industry for 20 plus years, 25 years. I was the president and COO of a division of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. I ran a PPO, built PPO networks and ancillary product lines. And ironically, my former boss who retired 2 years ago, a CEO of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, is a partner in our company. So that's kind of the story behind this. I was working on a project for a number of years back in 2012, and the project got site tabled right about 30 days before going live, and I kind of looked at the process out and had enough, and I'm going to do something on my own. So over a burger and a beer, my wife and I came up with this idea. The reason we came up with this idea is because of my own personal experiences, what I went through with my parents. And I'm going to get into a lot of data, 6 or 7 minutes that we have here really isn't enough time. I'd be more than happy to do a demo for anyone. We can schedule that. But the reason we did this is because of what I went through. My sister and my wife Susan and I went through with my parents. Mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, was operated on at KU Hospital. It was terminal, there was nothing we could do. We had to talk to 2 of my oldest brothers out of 5 in 12 and 15 years. So Mom comes home. Elderly people want to die at home, they don't want to die in the hospital. So she comes home, so we have to notify my oldest brothers, and you can understand the uncomfortableness of having to tell them that Mom's dying. So they show up and think they're going to run the whole show. No, get back in your car and get the hell out of here. You're not going to do that. No one's talked to you in 15 years. This is not how this is going to work. So Mom passes away, and then in the interim, a few months later, my aunt dies of ovarian cancer, my dad's sister, and then a few months later, my dad dies of a massive heart attack. So my sister and I are sitting there going, what do we do next, right? So there's all that, the communication piece, there's informing everybody, friends, family, loved ones about what's going on. And second, every elderly person has a little gray filing cabinet in their closet, in their bedroom, right? That's got all their financial information in, all their expenses, household expenses, and all that type of stuff. You got to go through that. So what we've come up with is a tool really to relieve the stress and kind of pre-plan. This is a tool to really pre-plan and get ready for the inevitable, okay? Because, this is going to happen. The population is getting older today. The younger generation, we blame you guys because you're not getting married, you're not having kids. So, what we are doing, all right, so 1MillionCupsSTL-Feb Solutions, we are offering this because of my background as a voluntary benefit program. Now, I don't know if any of you know what a voluntary benefit program is, but pet insurance, LifeLock is a voluntary benefit, financial services, legal services, those are all voluntary benefit programs aside from your group life, health, dental, vision, mental health, and EAP programs, right? So because of my background, called on the Watkins and the CBizzes of the world, this is how we're offering this product. We're offering it as a voluntary benefit program because of a couple of different reasons. One, the cost to employers today because of, and this is something to remember, workplace interruption, absenteeism, and turnover. How many times did my sister and I, she ended up losing our end, ended up quitting her job, all right? So how many days and hours did we take away from work to go out and relieve someone to take care of mom or dad, okay? So it costs American businesses today, this number is actually, it's about $50 billion today. And that number is just increasing. 10,000 people a day turn 65 in our country. In the next 4 years, there's 35 to 40 million today. In the next 4 years, that number is going to exceed well over 80 million people. These are all a MetLife study, all right? So that 33 billion a year ago, that's 50 billion today, is going to be about 150 billion cost to U.S. businesses, all because people are not working while they're at work. It costs American businesses today, this number, $2,110 is about $2,500. So as you can see here, the cost to a business with 1,000 employees, right? If I have 1,000 employees and I know that over 40%, which is a statistic today, are taking care of an elderly parent, right? That's about $844,000 a year that I'm losing because Jane and John Doe are sitting at their cubicle, they're making phone calls to friends, family, providers, service providers, and so on and so forth. They're not working. So that's what we're trying to circumvent. We're trying to create what we have created. A couple things. Basically, one, being a cost containment product for the employer, trying to keep Jane and John Doe at their cubicles working, right? And I'll show you why and how. And then second, it's kind of a stress reducer for the employee as well. So there's a lot of data around here showing the cost, and that number is just going up and up and up. So if 40% are taking care of an elderly parent today, and everybody in this room is going to go through that if you haven't already, that number 40% is probably going to be about 80% the next 4 years. There's no way around it. We are a HIPAA compliant product. So we follow all the HIPAA regulations and rules. We are SSL encrypted. This is a cloud-based product. We are a web-based, subscription-based product. We are cloud-based. We have the highest level of SSL encryption that you can possibly get. We follow the HIPAA rules simply because if you invite in a physician or nurse, we have to be HIPAA in order for them to be able to communicate through the tool. So this basically, and I want to say that if anybody looks up on your phone, we are mobile friendly on any device. If you look up on your phone or your laptop, we just completed yesterday a reface of the homepage. This used to be kind of part of the homepage. I didn't like it. We have a contract with a company out of Dallas, Texas, where we're getting about 100 hits a day through that company. The take rate's just not as high as I'd like it to be. So I actually went back and said I want to do a reface to make it a little bit more user-friendly so the employee can understand why, when, and how to use this. Why do I need this tool? So basically, it's very easy. This product we had designed, and again, this is a ground-up build. This is costing a lot of money. This is not a cut-and-paste platform that you would buy for $50 and stick some photos on it. So what you get once a person subscribes, all right? Again, this is a broker-driven, benefit primary distribution product. So all I do all day long is I'm calling on brokers and benefits companies all across the country. We are nationwide. We do get asked, are we worldwide yet? Global? Not yet. We do have the ability that if you invite someone in to communicate with, and they live in Canada or Australia or somewhere, we have that capability. So three things I want you guys to remember. There's the communication tool. There's the repository, then there's the search capability. So the communication tool is right here in the center. What this allows you to do, you build profiles. So if you're taking care of mom, right, and you're at or dad, or your aunt, your uncle, whoever it is, you build a profile around that individual. That's the person that you're taking care of. Then you invite users in, and then a user can be defined as a geriatric care management company. It could be pet services. It could be a physician. It could be financial services, elder care attorney. I mean, we've got contracts with all of the above. So anyone could be invited in as a user that you as the caregiver, mom and dad, can communicate with, all right? So think of it. Jane and John Doe are sitting at their desks. They're picking up the phone, calling every single one of these individuals. How much time is being wasted? On our site, you can invite all those people in and communicate with every single one of those individuals in a matter of just a few seconds, all right? I will tell you this, the platform that our site has been built on is very, very similar to Facebook, all right? And some people may catch that. So that's the communication piece. So we're trying to make it easy for the people to go back and forth and talk about how mom is doing. If the nurse came in to see mom, I can send a message out in a matter of seconds to let everybody know. All right, one thing besides being SSL encrypted in HIPAA, this is also another component within the tool for users. I can block people from seeing certain information. So if I invited a lawn care company, I don't want a lawn care company to see mom and dad's personal information. These are just all free click-throughs, GoodRx. Maybe you've already heard of those things. I'm not going to go into all those. All right, second component would be the repository. These 9 boxes. This is where you house, you go through that little gray filing cabinet and you house mom and dad's financial information. Where's their will? Where's the legal documentation, HIPAA release forms, power of attorney? All that information can be stored right here. You can either do it manually or take a photo of it and upload it, okay? So that is the repository piece. I don't want a lawn care company seeing mom and dad's household expenses or bank account information. But however, I do want a nurse to see the prescription information and the physician information and possibly the insurance information. That type of information I do want to share. So if I invite in 20 users, ranging from anywhere from pet care services to Meals on Wheels and so on and so forth, again, I can pick and choose who I message with and who sees what as far as this documentation goes. So where we are today. So we've been live now for about a year. We went live December 2015, right during open enrollment time. And unfortunately for us, it was not a good time, right? We had to wait. So we really couldn't start hitting the streets until mid-2016. I now have about 25 salespeople nationwide. I've got about 10, maybe 12 national contracts all across the country with large, very large benefits companies that will be offering this program to their clients' employees. So it's broker benefit driven, employer, employee. The way we structure this is a commission-based product. We track it via URL, custom URL for each benefit company that tracks the employer, the employee, and the producer, whoever is selling it. I think that's probably it. Now Q&A, right?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And, well, who wants to kick off? Fabulous question askers. Come on, we're competing against 10 cities. We have to show how fabulous St. Louis is, right?
Just a quick question. Is this only employee-based or could an individual?
Perfect. So I'm glad you asked that. This is primary distribution. I have 5, and I don't want anybody in here to say, "Oh my God, you're all over the place," because we're not all over the place. We have 5 different distribution channels. The first one being the benefit broker, the insurance agent agencies, the independents. When I say I have 25 salespeople, they're all 1099, right? They're not W-2s. Secondary are providers direct. I have contracts with elder care law firms. We've been in communication with hospice companies, elder care, geriatric care management companies, assisted living facilities, long-term care, and so on and so forth. So the third distribution, since we did launch KC back at Union Station in Kansas City, Missouri Tech Week, we made the top 100 out of 651, but actually we were close. We didn't make the top 20, but we were very close. I've been pinged by, I can't tell you how many companies that are non-competing complementary type products that would like to partner with us. My goal probably in the next year to 2 years is to have a couple more companies that I integrate with on our product and make it very robust. And that could be a medical record type product, retrieval platform. But to answer your question, and Susan and I actually have some very large employers that we've gone to direct with the consumer. The consumer, most of our business today is all consumer driven. I don't do anything from a marketing perspective to concentrate on the consumer. That will come down the road later. But as a consumer, they can sign up for this anytime. We did a crowdfunding campaign, about a year ago, and I think we had several thousand people sign up. And of those, most of them were all freebies, right? Demo accounts. And then we've got several hundred individuals that are paying direct. But what my biggest bang for the buck is if I can walk into an employer that has 120,000 employees, because this doesn't have any scalability issues, that's my biggest bang for the buck. Now, eventually, probably in the latter part of 2017 or early 2018, we'll focus on the consumer direct.
You stated briefly that you have 25 salespeople to 99. So how did you set up your sales force?
How I set it up with
how do you get people to...
Brother, you're looking at it. I am so stressed right now, I can't even tell you. Trying to run in each one of these guys. I mean, they call me. I mean, the phone was ringing just a minute ago. I've got people trying to get us into organizations, ARP, they're just, I can go on and on and on and on where these brokers or the independents are trying to get us in front of. And I know this is live, but I will say this, and I don't want to use a company name, but we were approached last week by a VC, and they want to invest a very large sum. And again, Susan and I bootstrapped this entire thing ourselves. What I would do is, number one, I've already got a gal, she was a partner and principal with one of the largest consulting firms in the country. We come on as our COO, and I'd probably hire a VP of sales or something. We have a CRM, if you're looking at it, it's a spreadsheet. I need a CRM in the worst way, and we'll do that. I mean, here's what's funny about it. So, we went live into 2015. 2016 was a building year. In 2017, I thought November, December of 2016 would have been slow for us. I've got more contracts done. I've got 6 contracts that I've got to finish tonight when I get home. So, You can only understand it. And each one of those contracts, what's funny is because it's commission-based, so someone is an independent, they're paying the broker, now we're going to pay the producers. So it's a trickle down, and it's hard to keep track of. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. All right, next question. Anybody, come on.
It's not a question, but you were mentioning CRM. I don't know if you're familiar with eCycling.com.
Yeah.
It's a free CRM. We have a
very
feature for free up to 10,000 users.
Yeah.
And then you can solution for you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm very familiar with it. In fact, here's how cheap we are. We use Uber Conference. If you're doing this familiar with Uber Conference, which is free, and that's how I do all my demos and conference calls. And I don't have to pay a dime for that until I start doing it for over 100 people at a time.
Any question?
The ads that you had on the bottom, are those ads or those sponsors?
They're neither. They're just really, one of our advisors is a physician, and Dr. Ketchers, I said, you know, because you should have something on here that is kind of a freebie tool so that people can look. I mean, people know what good RX is, right? You put in the medication, your zip code, it's going to tell you the best place, the cheapest place to find it in your area. We put that on there for free. I'm not charging. In fact, you know, it's not about advertising on our site at this point in time. In fact, I want to keep this thing as clean and advertiser free as possible. Now, there probably will be a time where we created a section on the site and have some paid advertising or something, but that's really down the road. You know, like Yahoo, suit or anything, but you click on, go to your Yahoo email or whatever, and then this first thing that pops up is Geico or Progressive Insurance. I don't want that. I want this to be focused on what we're trying to accomplish here.
Thank you.
Other questions?
We got lots of time, guys. I'm the only one here.
Yeah, we gotta hear from you.
Two parts to this question.
Yep.
The first is, do you have any data on how long people stick with this format? Do they like it for a month? Does it trail off after 6 months of usage? Is it difficult to keep clinical data up to date? Second question is, with the number of care providers involved in a family who are not familiar with this, how do you tackle the issue of orienting these new care providers to your platform?
And the first part, so I'll see if I understand the second question. The first part is, there is nothing else like us out there. And, you know, some people are saying, like, be good or like be bad, right? Well, actually, it's good because the competitors that we see, we do have a competitor matrix, are usually a not-for-profit type organization that, whenever you see that, they're not HIPAA, they're not SSL, so they're not paying all those costs, right? They don't have the complete program. I mean, I did a demo for a guy in San Francisco, and he says, well, I'm using such and such. So we did a demo, and he goes through, he goes, well, you combine like 3 or 4 companies into one company. There is no data. In fact, we have a company that asks us, all right, what's our ROI expectation? I can't tell you yet, because this is so new. Now, we could come up with some theories about you know, what we think we can save you by keeping your employee at your desk, right? But I can't sit here and say, okay, so if it costs you $844,000 a year because of absenteeism, turnover, and workplace interruption, I can't come up and say, okay, I can save you 38.6% of that today. I don't know. Give me 6 months to a year, we'll be able to do that. And I think, does that kind of answer your question? I think the first part, and then the second part was about,
How do you orient the caregivers to your platform successfully?
and when you mean orient, you mean invite them or talk to them about it or
Get
what?
them to understand it quickly. They're going to be, you know, their hands are at the top, they're full. They've got plenty to do all day.
Sure.
And they don't have 20 minutes to orient themselves to your platform.
Right.
How do you provide training to all these?
Well, that's going to be, I mean, if you're invited in as a user, okay, so if you're a nurse, are you a nurse? Okay, I figured. I'm sure we probably got some marketing material or marketing people in here as well. I'm not changing the name. That's the first thing, marketing 101. But you would get invited in as a user. So let's just say I'm the accountant with a subscriber, and I'm taking care of mom and dad. I hire you as a geriatric care management company. We're going to have a discussion about this product. I'm going to invite you in as a user. You're going to get a tag. You're going to get a password and whatever, log on, right? So that you can come in and you'll see that you've now been invited as a user, you will pop up. We'll have to have a conversation that you, nurse, I need you to communicate with me every time you see my mom. It's very simple. It's just going into your account as a user and just typing in a message. Saw mom today, she was great, blah, 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 blah. And then you can actually pick and choose who that message goes to as well. So you don't want it to go to everyone, you want it to just come to me. So they're really, I mean, there's going to be some upfront education that's going to have to take place. I will tell you this, that we have been pinged by, I don't know, a dozen more geriatric care management organizations around the country that want to integrate our calendar functionality. This does have a calendar functionality and task functionality. They would like to integrate the calendars for their nurses. And they'd also like to run the billing through Provider Solutions as well, but I'm not sure I'll become a processor. But, yes?
Hi. So you were mentioning like 2015, 2016, what was going through your head. Can you just go through when you first were starting, like what time period you gave yourself and like what
Sure.
goals and stuff?
I'm glad you asked that. So, and I think about this a lot. And you know, I'm from Kansas City. Kansas City is this big, quote-unquote, entrepreneurial city, right? And it is. I mean, there's a lot that you can get there and get out of trying to start a company. My background, and guys, I'm going to tell you what I've spent. I cashed in 401ks, I cashed in my savings. I don't have a car. My daughter has a car. My wife has a car. You know, you're going to hear people when they start the business, you got to scrape the bottom to make this work. This is going to work. I'm going to make it work. There's no question about it. But when you first start up, you know, make sure you got a good idea. Find a mentor. If you've never built a product successfully, I have, not for myself, but if you haven't done it, get a mentor. And there's the, we used several of them. I mean, there's the ECJC, Enterprise Center for Johnson County. They have all these classes that you can take, pitching and, you know, calculating your pre-revenue value. I mean, all these different kinds of courses that you can take. There's a lot of mentorship programs out there, too, that people where they've retired and they want to assist somebody starting companies. Find one of those. I mean, there's a ton of them out there. Get connected with somebody and then start kind of figuring out the next step. Susan and I did this on our own. All right, we had a couple mentors that I quite frankly, I knew more than they did, and it was not really value for us. We did attend some classes. Johnson County Community College has a entrepreneurial program where we went in and met with a guy to kind of figure out our financials and all that kind of stuff. But we did this on our own, so we've kind of figured it out along the way. And I'll tell you what, the last couple of years, it's been tough. You know, there's a lot to learn. You know, some of the things that you're going to be told, you know, oh, there's seed money, there's all this kind of money out there, right? So you try to approach someone and try and get $100,000 or $200,000. Do you have any existing customers? No, we're a startup. Sorry. Unless you have an existing client base, you're not going to get money from anybody. And you might. I mean, I look at it like this, that, you know, we don't have our projections, our growth rate is about a 3% a week growth rate, which is a moderate website growth rate. It's usually 5 to 7. Facebook was 22%. By the end of 3 years, I think our projection is 24 mLs, and then by the end of about 5 years, it's going to be over 100. So, because that's just how it progresses and how it rolls. There's things that we're going to have to do. I'm going to hire people. We haven't counted. I mean, everything is done. Well, there's still things that we're going to have to do to help run this thing behind the scenes. One of the first things we're going to have to do is we're set up for live chat, not a call center. So we'll probably punch live chat and make that live here fairly quickly. Yes, sir.
So when you go into, I had a significant illness, I was treated at Mercy, I was in the hospital there, and then I stepped afterwards, and I had all my stuff on mymercyaccount.com, and all my stuff in my calendars and all those things. So a lot of things you're talking about, but not everything, was on that account. So I could access my medical records and all that stuff.
Sure.
Does this thing potentially integrate with those things? And, you know,
yes.
so that, and because you're not probably going to get Mercy to actually stop using their own thing.
I'm talking. I'm already talking. Yeah. We're actually a large hospital in Kansas. I think we're like probably in the top 5 in the country for cancer centers. Not only are we looking at offering this to employees, And ironically, they want to pay for all of it. Just give us to the place. Well, we'll discount it. And by the way, so if anybody's ever interested in selling, of course, I'm not here to sell. But we do have pricing matrices based on the number of employees, 1,000, 5,000, and so on and so forth. We can drop our subscription rate. But not only from the employee, we're looking at, they call it pie chart, and we're looking at integrating this with their discharge planning tool. Because what happens to them? Discharge, most of you are going to get a clipboard with a bunch of business cards around here, geriatric care, pet services, lawn care, blah, 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 right? Very unfriendly. That's what I got when mom was being discharged. So what they want to do, and they actually approached us about this, is taking our tool and integrating it with their tool so that if in the event, like in a cancer center, Mark, your mom's terminal, here's a tool that we're going to offer to you that will help put your house in order. This is something you might want to take a look at. So now I can start going with that little gray filing cabinet and start communicating and inviting users of hospice or whomever and start carrying on that conversation. So this is really, and what's going to happen, what's been happening is people are waiting till the last minute when hospice is knocking on your door. I also volunteer for Kindred Hospice, and I see Alzheimer's, I see dementia, and I see what happens. Don't wait till the last minute, start pre-planning. And I think it wasn't you, someone asked me this question, as far as life expectancy, this product. My wife's 47, I'm 59, we've been married 20 years, we've got a 17-year-old daughter, her mom and dad are 76. They have their own account. They're capable of working on a computer doing this themselves, right? Had they not, and had Susan created a profile, the person you're taking care of, and then started inviting users in for her mom and dad, then we also could build a profile for ourselves, right? So mom and dad lived to the reputable age of 84, 85, 86, which is the norm now. So that's what, 8 years, okay? 8 to 10 years. Now we have our own profile. Another 8 to 10 years, I plan on living another 20 years, right? So once you start this and you keep it updated, there's no reason to get rid of it. I will say this, so the $9.99 a month is an unlimited profile. So you can have a profile on yourself, your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle. We think that based on the data we found is people are probably going to have 3, 4 different profiles. And within each profile, you can have unlimited users. And the users, as I said, could be the nursing and so on and so forth. So,
Can you integrate with my Mercy online account so that I don't have to go to that and
Absolutely.
to this to get my medical records?
Absolutely.
And my
Our API, right,
okay.
we can integrate with anyone. And what we found out most recently is we had a care management company that we were dealing with. And I was a little surprised. They were regionalized, but they were big. They had about 40,000 lives that they were taking care of. And they wanted the calendar functionality. So basically what they would do is their nurses would use our calendar. They would eliminate theirs, use ours. That way they can communicate, be invited in as a user, and communicate back and forth with the person, the family lead or family caregiver, mom and dad, right? They wanted to integrate that, and they also wanted to send notification out about the billing and so on and so forth. They didn't have the capability. We do, so they did not. So they had to go back to the drawing board, and they're still at the drawing board trying to figure out how they can integrate their software with ours. And we got their IT with our IT, and their IT was going like this. There's no way we can do this. So we had the ability to do that the way our site was built. It doesn't matter who it is.
Okay, well, you touched on this a little bit, but we always want to add, end on our big question of what can the community do for you? So is there anything else that you didn't get to touch on that the community can help you?
Sure. So here's the thing. So this, everybody's going, why are you doing this? Why are you going around so many different cities? Well, I think I told you that up front, right? I'll probably yell that on the way home the next 4-hour drive. But anyway, I hope she's not streaming this live, right?
No.
So I'm doing this to get the word, because yeah, the consumer will come eventually. But I'm going to tell you what. Here's something you asked a question a minute ago. Every single one of these things, you're going to get a nugget from it. And if I can get one nugget from one of these presentations, then it was a successful day. And every single one of these, I've been able to get something. I actually have a call scheduled at 2:30 today with a large healthcare organization. And I got that from Wichita. Well, the guy who used to work at Lockton as a broker or producer, he says, you need to talk to so-and-so. And I'm like, okay, so I called him. So we got a schedule, a call schedule. So you're always going to get something. And plus, it's a lot of fun. I like to talk.
Really?
Yeah.
Great, well, great, thank you
Okay,
so
thank you
much for
guys. I
coming, Mark.
appreciate your
And
time.
we're full of nuggets, so stick around, and I'm sure there'll be a lot